Today, we're going to be taking a look at a droid, a commando droid of sorts. This is the Star Wars Black Series commando droid, or BX series, if I think is what it is. This is a new figure. I think this is possibly the newest one I own. Very new. I think it's the newest wave, possibly. Here we have it. By the box, stuff to read. It's number 18. I don't know if that means for this newer box style, which goes back to the old box style, or if it's number 18 in the Clone Wars line. Not 100 on that, as I'm new to the Black Series, so I'm not really 100% sure, honestly. But it's nice, and I like the kind of yellow-orange that they do for the Clone Wars. It's very nice. And getting the commando droid out of the box, here he is. And he's a droid. He is certainly a droid. He is my favorite of the Separatist battle droid types. I love the commando droid design. It's been my favorite ever since I've seen it. It's just such a nice design. It's so sleek. It's very cool. There's just a lot about it. I like the head of the commando droid a lot more than the typical battle droid. It's just a lot better, a lot sleeker. It's very nice. The arms are pretty skinny, but they do have that bit of orange detailing, as they should. Same for the legs being quite skinny, but there is some nice weathering down on the shins. The chest looks pretty good, except for that main midriff area, which is a little iffy. I can't tell if it's all ball-jointed. I know there's a couple in there, but they're kind of working to make everything uneven and kind of bent. It's really strange, honestly, to get it all lined up. And I mean, there's a lot of things. He does have a port on his back, though, for one of his accessories, that being his sword, which just plugs in right there. Ta-da! That's one of his accessories. And then his other accessory is the typical droid blaster, which I don't know the name of. I just call it the Battle Droid Blaster, because that's who basically uses it. And essentially, you just do this, put it in his hand like that, and he can wield it two-handed quite easily. Nothing too bad, but the sword port, it really sucks. I'm not even going to lie to you, it sucks really bad. His back isn't flat. So unless you have the sword like that, it kind of works. But my mind's always like, I want to do this, but I can't, because it's not an even surface. So as soon as you rotate it, then it just kind of pops off. It's a little iffy, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, everything else, though, looks quite good. He does wield the sword relatively well. He can wield it in both hands, but obviously the gun-holding hand, probably your friend on this one, because this one does drop it a lot. It's a lot more open, but it is possible to wield it. So there is that. No issues really to speak of on him. Maybe with the articulation, which I think we should talk about, because that's about where we're at here. So, for the articulation for the commando droid, it is pretty good, I guess. First and foremost, we have a ball joint up at the head. There's also a ball joint in the neck, allowing for a good bit of movement there. At the shoulder, we have forward and back. There is again, ball joint. So it kind of acts as a butterfly in a way. Outward, there is a swivel there, and a swivel up here, but this one's not nearly as good. This is the one that you're getting the swivel out of. Hand goes in and out. Don't want to do it too bad, though, because, again, thin parts kind of scare me. And then at the torso here, there is a ball joint there, but then there's another one under it here, and then there's another one at the base, which seems to be the one that's causing me the issue with the uneven look. Then at the hips, forward and back, with a bit of out, and I do kind of like how the ball joint is appearing there. It's a detail that I'm pretty sure is there on the actual droid model, so it's kind of cool to see that. Knee joint right there, rotation, kind of a scary knee. Got some forward to it if you need that. Does have an ankle tilt, and of course forward and back. So basic, nothing too crazy. He's supposed to be a flexible droid. That's the one thing I remember about the old Clone Wars 3¾ inch. That thing was insanely poseable compared to the other droids. He was insanely poseable. I don't have that with me at the moment. I actually probably could grab it, but I don't know exactly where it's at, is the only problem. And we'll compare him here to Captain Rex. And there he is next to Captain Rex. I think that's about right. I always assume droids are taller than clones. Even with Rex kind of in a pose, I would assume he's a little bit tall, you know? But essentially, that is it for the Commando droid. So let's just get to my final thoughts, which are, I like this thing a lot. There's not really a lot wrong with it. It's exactly what I'd want to do. It has the posability. That's the big thing, because these are pretty athletic droids to begin with. They're meant to move a lot more than your typical battle droid. They're very cool. Again, does not disappoint. I think the scaling is correct. It looks to be correct. And everything about him just looks great. I have no gripes with him. The only thing, I guess, would be the sword not pegging in too well, but that's mostly just my own brain, because when you do peg it in going straight down, it does work. So it's more or less me just trying to put it on an angle that's causing that issue. But other than that, there's not really much I can think of. He stands surprisingly well, too, for a guy with such a, like, skinny base. Like, his feet are not that big. He stands really well. And, I mean, it just looks really good. There's not really a lot wrong. And honestly, out of this new wave, I don't think anyone would regret picking it up. I think that he is great. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5. I don't have anything, like, negative. There's nothing negative here. Everything's positive. Everything about it, everything is great. The details are great. The wear and tear is on there, but it's very minimal. Like, it's on the head as well, but it's so, like, barely there. It's kind of insane. Like, it's there if you, like, flash it and, like, kind of see it on the hands there and on the torso. It's there, but it's not, like, super noticeable. It's just right, and I think that this thing is well worth the price of admission. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I think it's perfect. I have no gripes. That's it. That is my review of the Star Wars Black Series Commando droid. This has been Elite signing out.